Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So today it is super dreary outside. It is raining, it is dark, which is why I have literally every light on in my apartment right now. So hopefully the lighting isn't suffering, but I hope you're ready for a super cozy rainy day book haul. This is going to be a huge collective haul of about 40 books that I have gathered that have come into my possession over the past couple months. I have all the books I got for Christmas, all the stuff that I spend my money on, all the books that you guys sent to me. We have so much stuff. It's about 40, I think a little over 40 books here. So let's go ahead and jump in. So I have them split up in two different categories, like how I procured them basically. And the first section we're gonna start with is library books. So I don't know if y'all like seeing what I got from the library, but I'm super nosy and I like to see what other people get, and I like to see library hauls. I look up #library haul on Instagram all the time because I just want to know, like, what are people getting from the library? So if you're nosy like me, here is my little library haul from the other day. I ran to the library and first of all picked up Cheat Day, and this is why I went, because I really wanted to read this one for Valentine's Day. It just looks so cute with like the heart cake on the cover. If I bought this one, it would definitely be a cover buy, and I honestly considered doing it, and then I thought, you know what? My library has it, why don't I just go pick it up? And this is an adult romance. It is also a debut novel. It follows this woman who I believe is in her 30s and married, so a little bit more unique, not the typical single 20s protagonist. So I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit more mature and a little bit more real. This doesn't sound like a fluffy romance. It's about our main character struggling with eating and fad diets, and I know that can be triggering for some, so just make sure you look up trigger warnings if you want to pick this up. But basically our main character is trying to exert control over her life by controlling what she eats and how she diets, and she ends up completely losing control with the food and with temptation from another source, a man. So Cheat Day has double meaning there. She's cheating on her diet and her husband, and these two forms of temptation are really making her feel like she's losing control, and I'm guessing we're gonna follow her journey with that. And I love emotional romances. I also love commentary about relationships with food, eating disorders, stuff like that. Obviously, I'm a therapist, so that's something that I'm interested in. I hope this one is gonna be good. I've heard really great things about it. I also picked up from my library Near the Bone by Christina Henry. Obviously, if you guys have not heard Gabby Reed's talk about this book, this is one of her favorites from 2021. It is a horror book in an isolated snowy setting, so I figured it was perfect to read in the winter. And it follows this couple who, I think they're staying in the woods. Oh, they live alone on a mountain, and they stumble across a body in the woods that lets them know that they are not alone. There's something else out there in the woods watching them, and maybe they will be next. I also picked up Yes, Daddy, honestly, just because of the cover and the title. Like, that just sounds iconic to me. It's by Jonathan Parks Ramage, and I don't know what it is other than I know it's a thriller. It follows an ambitious young man who is lured in by an older successful playwright into a dizzying world of wealth and an idyllic Hamptons home where things take a nightmarish turn. Okay, so it's kind of feeling like the gay version of The Arrangement by Robin Harding, and I freaking love that book. I love drama. I love rich people drama especially, so I think this is gonna be a hit for me. I also picked up Necessary People by Anna Pitoniak. Hopefully I said that right. And this is a kind of, I don't really think it's a thriller. I think it's more of a just like darker contemporary about female friendships and how they can turn toxic really fast. It follows the trajectory of these two longtime best friends as they kind of compete with each other the more that they grow older. And there's kind of an insinuation in the synopsis that only one of them can have it all. And the last book that I picked up from my library was Best Day Ever by Kiara Rauda. And I've never heard of this book. I haven't seen anything. Honestly, the deckled edges were the thing that like caught my eye because very few library books I've seen have deckled edges and I love them. But it was in the thriller section. It said it's a tensely written, shocking book that will hold readers on the edge of their seat to the very last page. So when I read that little blurb, I was like, okay, yeah, you're coming with me. Like a very unheard of thriller with that kind of blurb. I want to be the first one to find this hidden gem. So hopefully it is one. It sounds like it is a fast-paced domestic thriller where this couple is going on a getaway. They seem to have this perfect life and they take a day out to the countryside that is supposed to be the best day ever. But doubts and tension starts to arise between them. How much do they trust each other? How perfect are they? And how perfect is any marriage really? It says that it's supposed to be like The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina and The Dinner, one of which I read and I thought was okay. The other of which I have on my TBR, so we'll see. The next little section of books I have here are my book of the month picks from the past couple months. My December pick was A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, and I've actually heard really, really wonderful things about this one. I was kind of unsure about it, but I've heard great things about it. It is a thriller about missing girls. I think teenagers had gone missing, and then 20 years later, a psychologist comes back to the town and another teen girl goes missing, and then another. And the terrifying summer from 20 years before comes crashing back to her. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from the past? Or for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? I've heard really great things about this, and honestly, just based on that synopsis, I want to prioritize her. And in December, I also had an add-on, which was The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I have a whole reading vlog dedicated to this super hyped adult romance, and if you want my full thoughts, the full tea, no spoilers though, I will link that reading vlog up above and down below for you to watch after this video. Then for my January pick, I picked Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I really enjoyed The Wife Upstairs by her, and this one was supposed to be a like vacation kind of summary. So that is why I picked this one up. The synopsis says 1 island, 6 visitors, countless secrets. So it sounds like it's giving like a modern version of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which I love that kind of style of plot. It's gonna give me all the island vibes. I've heard good things. I'm ready for it this summer. And then my January add-on was Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And this was a lot of my friends' best book of 2021, so I figured I needed it. It's about 2 dads who I think their sons were actually married, and one of the guys is black and one of the guys is white, and they go on this journey together while they're grieving their sons and the relationship that they've had and coming to terms with their sexuality, talking about the differences between each other, and it touches on like race, sexuality, all of those things. It's supposed to be really great discussion-wise and also really fast-paced and exciting for a thriller, so very excited for that one as well. Solid book of the month picks the past couple months. Now let's move on to the books that I got for Christmas. The first one, which I've mentioned already on my channel, was 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph. This one actually got 5 stars from me, which is super rare for a YA thriller, but something about it, the pacing was just so good. These chapters are like minuscule, like 2 pages at the most sometimes. So it goes really fast, and the nightmare of what's happening just unfolds and you gotta know what happens. It's a lot like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so I would say if you like that series, definitely pick this one up. And I will link the wrap up where I talk about this book, where I give like my full thoughts. I think it's my December wrap up. So again, if you want to hear in-depth thoughts, go watch that. But for now, I'm trying to keep this quick because we have 40 books to talk about. Also for Christmas, I got Later by Stephen King, and this is about a little boy who can see and hear things that nobody else can. It's kind of giving Sixth Sense in that way, and he and his mother are trying to keep this secret, but I think he's gonna help in like a murder investigation or something like that. I don't know, I heard really great things. Obviously, I've enjoyed Stephen King's work in the past, so hopefully this one will be a winner. And I just want to mention that most of these books Cameron got me for Christmas. A couple were from my mom and a couple were from friends, but the majority of these were from Cameron. And the next book he got me was We Are All Same in the Dark by Julia Heberlin. This is another thriller about a missing girl. A girl goes missing and then the whole town is saying, you know, we will find you, we will track you down. And then very quickly afterwards, a girl's body, not this girl, a different one, is found in the town, and the youngest cop to ever be hired, she's a young woman cop, decides that she's going to figure out what happened to these girls. And I've heard almost nothing about this book, but the cover is gorgeous. It is one of those floppy paperbacks, and the synopsis sounds great. So thanks to my wonderful fiance for this book. He also got me Mr. Perfect by Linda Howard, and this is one of my most anticipated books. I really want to read it this year. Something is telling me that it's going to be 5 stars. It just has that feeling of like salacious rich people drama, which is my favorite to read about. And it's about these women who have this idea of what the perfect man is. And somehow that idea gets a little bit skewed. Things start to go awry, and somebody starts hunting them and picking them off for this idea of the perfect man. Very intrigued. We also have The Plot by Jean Hanff Korelitz. And this is another thriller, of course, what else would it be? About a professor who teaches this writing course, and a student pipes up and says,
"You don't really have to be a good writer if you have the best plot ever, and I have an idea for the best plot ever written. I'm gonna be a bestseller and sell more books than you ever will."
And so this professor is like, okay, little shit, we'll see about that. And then the student mysteriously dies. So the professor thinks, I don't think that this kid has told anybody else about this plot. I'm gonna go ahead and steal it. And things go from there when somebody finds out about the thievery that has been going on. This is another 5-star prediction that I have for this year. Hopefully it will work out. Next up, I have the whole off-campus series, which is 5 books by Elle Kennedy. They're all new adult hockey sports romances, and these are another one that I have a full reading vlog for. No spoilers, but full thoughts on all 5 of these books. I also go in depth about Elle Kennedy, the author, and the problematic stuff that has been going on with her on Book Talk. So go watch that video. I just posted it, and I would really like to have a discussion about the problematic stuff, about the books, about your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, so this is 5 books.
Boom.
This next little section is going to be all books that were sent to me. So first I have The Chase by Elle Kennedy as well. This is the first book in the Briar U series. It takes place in the same world as the Off-Campus series that I just showed. It's just the kind of second generation of characters and their love stories. And this was sent to me by my friend Nitty, who is actually my Secret Santa in our little booktuber Secret Santa book exchange. She also sent me Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, which is on my February TBR. It is a teeny tiny little horror novella with LGBTQ rep. And she also sent me 2 Colleen Hoover books, Heartbones and Too Late. Too Late is a darker romance that I talked about in my December wrap up as well. So again, that will be linked. And then Heartbones is a more emotional romance about, I think, a girl and a boy who grow up as neighbors. Yeah, so they spend the summer as neighbors, but with only the summer separating them from the start of their new lives on opposite ends of the country, they decide to stay in the shallow end of a summer fling. What they don't realize is that a rip current is coming and it's about to drag their hearts out to sea.
I can just tell this is going to be emotional.
I want to read this in the pool and cry. I also want to mention these super adorable bookmarks that were sent to me. Like, hello, just one more page. These are so cute. I am dying. I'm so obsessed with them. This is the username of the person who sent them to me. Kate reached out to me on Instagram and she said I didn't have to show them. She did not want any promo, but I'm like,
girl, these are adorable. Of course, I'm gonna give you some promo.
So go follow her on Instagram, order some bookmarks. These are really great quality, and hello, super cute. Somebody also sent me from my Amazon wish list, Dark Roads by Chevy Stevens. This is a beautiful newer release hardcover, but it didn't have any note. I don't know if like Amazon is misplacing my notes. I think this is the second or third book that I've gotten where there's no note. So if you send me a book off my Amazon wish list, which is always linked down below, thank you for anyone that's done that. Make sure you put a note so I know who sent it and I can thank you for it. But this is an adult thriller about this road where a lot of women go missing, and this girl is driving on it. I don't know if she's investigating it or she goes missing herself or what. I just know that the main character's name is Hailey and she spells it exactly like I do. So maybe that's why somebody sent it to me, but I saw somebody talk about that in a video and I was like,
hey, that's me.
So thank you to whoever sent this. And if you sent it, let me know in the comments. And this is another one that did not have a note, but the person who sent it actually reached out on Instagram. So we had a little combo. I got to thank them, but they sent over Please Ignore Vera Dietz by A.S. King. I've been wanting to get more into A.S. King. I've had this little girl on my wish list for a while. It is a kind of emotional, hard-hitting YA contemporary. It says, Vera has spent her whole life secretly in love with her best friend, Charlie. Over the years, she's kept a lot of his secrets, even after he betrayed her, even after he ruined everything. So when Charlie dies under dark circumstances, Vera knows a lot more than anyone. Will she emerge to clear his name, or does she even want to? And the last book that was sent to me was A Ladder to the Sky by John Boyne, and this was sent to me by the same person who sent over Jar of Hearts last year. So
I trust you.
I think their username is Donnybrook or just Dawn. So thank you, Dawn, for sending this over. Obviously, I trust you implicitly with my whole heart since Jar of Hearts was one of my best books of 2021 and it came right from you. I'm hoping that this one is going to be a best book of 2022. I have no idea what this is about. There's a very, very short synopsis and I love vague synopses, so hopefully that's a good sign. It says, Maurice Swift is handsome, charming, and hungry for fame. The one thing he's missing is talent, but a would-be writer can find or steal stories from anywhere. So kind of sounds like the plot. Roving from the Amalfi Coast to Manhattan, he preys on the talented and vulnerable in a cold-blooded climb to the top. The higher he climbs, the farther he has to fall. So this sounds exactly like the plot, just kind of on a bigger scale. I'm so excited to get to this one now. Oh my God, thank you again for sending this one over. The rain is really picking up now. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like very atmospheric. I love my little cozy sweatshirt when it's raining and I just get to talk about books. I love this. Okay, so this last section of books I have to share with you is everything that I bought for myself because I have no self-control. Simply none. Not an ounce of it in my body when it comes to books. And when I have Christmas money, it's gonna happen, okay? So I have this huge stack left to share with you. And this is probably the biggest section, I think, is just the way that I spoil myself. So the first one we have here is 3 Hours by Rosamund Lupton. And I heard about this one, I think from Caroline, one of my good friends here on BookTube. And this is supposed to be a really hard-hitting, fast-paced thriller about a school shooting. And the whole book takes place over 3 hours where the shooting is taking place. I know this is gonna be a really hard read, but I enjoy reading things about school shootings, not because it's like I enjoy school shootings, but because I think there is a bigger discussion to be had there. And y'all know my favorite thrillers are not just the ones that are crazy, but the ones that are crazy with something to say. And I think this is gonna be one that is like that. I think this is also taking place in the winter, like in the middle of a blizzard, so it's giving wintry, isolated vibes, and that's what I'm looking for right now. I also have The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, and this was one of my besties. Favorite books of the year. So Jess from Books Past Bedtime was telling me about it. She was like, this is a mystery. It's set in Austin. It's one of my favorite books. You've got to read it. And I was like,
yeah, girl, I already ordered it, so.
Telepathy. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I just know that it kept getting recommended to me and I need to read it. And it was like this big thing last year, but for some reason I feel like I heard almost nobody talk about it. I know Chandler liked it and I know Jess liked it, and that's enough for me. I also have Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This is Miss Coho's new release. It is following, I think, a single mother who just got out of prison, and she gets a job at a bar and falls in love with the bartender. It's gonna be emotional, it's gonna be hard-hitting, it's gonna be all the things we love about Colleen. Next, I have Truth Be Told by Kia Abdullah. This is the follow-up, the sequel to Take It Back, which is one of my favorite thrillers ever. And it follows our same defense attorney, Zara, who was the victim's advocate lawyer in Take It Back. She is coming back to help another assault survivor. The back says, Cameron Hadid feels invincible. He attends Hampton School, an elite all-boys boarding school, comes from a wealthy family, and has a place at Oxford next year. The world is at his feet, and then a night of revelry leads to a drunken encounter, and he must ask himself a horrific question. With the help of assault counselor Zara Khalil, Cameron reports the incident in hopes that it will be the end of it, but it's only the beginning. I also have Darby Kane's new release, The Replacement Wife. I absolutely loved Pretty Little Wife. They came out last year, so I had to get this one as well. This is a domestic thriller about a woman who is convinced her brother-in-law is a murderer. His partners keep going missing, and she sets out to find out the truth. Let's take a little break from all of the thrillers. I also have a romance, Happiness for Beginners by Catherine Center. I love Catherine Center. I think she's so underrated. And this one follows a divorced woman in her 30s. Again, it's not a typical super fluffy 20-something romance. This has a little bit more depth to it, and this woman post-divorce signs up for a wilderness retreat, and it's a disaster. But along the way, she meets a guy who kind of helps her through. Obviously, it's romance, cutie. Next up, I have Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke, and this is a horror, obviously, as you can tell by the cover. I've heard a lot of people telling me that I'm really gonna like this. It has been compared to Brother by Anya Alborn, which is one of my favorite books ever. It's about a cannibalistic family of inbred crazy people in Alabama and the murders that happen, and I'm excited for it because I love a classic slasher, what can I say? I have a couple more horror books here. We have Comfort Me with Apples by Catherine M. Valente. Y'all are gonna hear all about this in my January wrap up if it's already up. Before I post this video, I will link it above and below, but I ended up really liking this teeny tiny horror novella. There's not much I want to say in regards to synopsis because I think it will give it away, but if you like trippy horror that has something to say, you'll really like this one. I also picked up another horror novella called We Need to Do Something by Max Booth, and I also got this recommendation from Gabby Reeds. She was just loving this in one of her vlogs, and I decided to trust her. Another super vague synopsis. It says a family on the verge of self-destruction finds themselves isolated in their bathroom during a tornado warning.
Period.
And lastly, these last few books are just books that I've thrifted. I didn't go out of the way to buy these for myself. I just kind of stumbled upon them. The first one is this beautiful edition of Dolores Claiborne. I absolutely love the like shiny text. And obviously this is a horror book by Stephen King. We have the man himself on the whole back cover there. And this whole book follows Dolores's confession of the murders that she's committed. So basically the person that she was taking care of dies and the police come and she presents them kind of with this manuscript that's supposed to be this book, and it serves as her confession and her defense is what the synopsis says. So I don't quite know what that means, but she claims everything she did for love. And finally, these last two books that I found at the thrift store are the first two books in the Stillhouse Lake series by Rachel Kane. We have obviously Stillhouse Lake and then Kilman Creek. And this is following this badass mother who finds out her husband is a serial killer. Obviously he gets caught, he goes to prison, but they have to go under like witness protection. So the mom and kids escape to this remote cabin and they feel like something is coming after them. They have to be on the run. I'm super excited to start this series. And yeah, that is gonna be the end of this book haul. I hope you like hearing about all the 40 so books that I have acquired over the past couple months. Let me know if there are some that you really like that I should prioritize out of this list down below. Let me know if some of these are your favorites. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.